So we know what's happened so far with the DAPL up in North Dakota, the access pipeline by the Energy Transfer Partners. Wanted to go under the lake, potentially because there's going to be a spill. There always are spills. And so anyway, the Army Corps of Engineers has said they're going to look for an alternate crossing. So that minor victory for the people, the water protectors up in North Dakota. So there's a nice victory. That's nice. 4,000 veterans showed up. They expected 1,500. They got 4,000 veterans. 4,000. I don't think they have a prison big enough in North Dakota to take 4,000 veterans. So, so on the eve of that happening with Barack Obama or the Army Corps of Engineers announcing that, courageous Elizabeth Warren once again came out with a statement. We've been waiting for a statement for her since this whole started, and of course she's been silent. And we already did a video about her silence and about how when it. She said she was Native American, and it would be seems like a perfect time for her to show up. So here she did make a statement. So she finally made a statement. And it was. I'm sure she was tipped off that the Army Corps was going to do what they were doing. So now she felt free to go ahead. Let's just read what she says. This is her statement from her Facebook page. She says, I don't know how anyone could watch the news and not be horrified by what's happening at Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota. Horrified. So here, let me rewrite that sentence for her. I don't know how anyone could watch the news and not be horrified by what's happening at Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota, but I've been able to do it for months now. Well, I mean, how do you start off your thing like that? Don't you think every person who reads that's going to go, yeah, how the hell have you been silent if you've been horrified? She's been horrified about what's been going on up there. Horrified. And I don't understand how anybody couldn't be horrified by what's going on up there. But I've been horrified but silent. Sometimes when I get horrified, it collapses my voice box. And I can't even type or anything. What kind of bullshit is this? By the way, this is some of the best that the Democrats have to offer. So you can see why I'm down on the Democrats. Why I think Bernie Sanders needs to start a third party. Why wouldn't you? Why not just start it? I'm sure he has his reasons.
Because it wouldn't work.
Well, if you had a third party and Bernie Sanders, first of all, 40% of Americans consider themselves not affiliated with a political party. That right there is a plurality in the electorate. So let's say you get half those people to come along with your third party. You get 20, people forget Ross Perot got 19% of the vote. Ross Perot. So it is very doable. I will disagree with that. It's very, very, very doable, I think, especially when you have a guy who's, the country's desperate for someone like Bernie Sanders. That's why the other half of the country elected Donald Trump. That's how desperate they are. So the whole country's desperate for a populist, someone to actually come and implement policy on behalf of the voters and not on behalf of the donors. People are desperate for it. And so that's what we're waiting for. And that's why I think that, and everybody's like, oh, Elizabeth Warren. Perfect example of what's wrong with the Democrats, why they lost to Trump. This is a perfect example. Oh, we'll stand up when it's already over. So she goes on. For months, the Standing Rock Sioux and thousands of others have opposed a pipeline that many believe risks contaminating the tribe's water supply. What they have faced in response: attack dogs, rubber bullets, tear gas, water hoses, and freezing temperatures. A 21-year-old graduate of Williams College in Massachusetts had her arm nearly destroyed. And last week, the governor directed, how come those people who did that aren't arrested? Are you calling for those people to be arrested, Elizabeth Warren? Do you want that sheriff put in jail? Do you want Lynch, the new attorney general, to throw that sheriff in jail and that cop who did that to that woman? Is that what you're asking for? I don't see that's not in here. You're not asking for those people who did those horrific things to be in prison. You're not asking for them to be arrested. I don't even see a call for an investigation to arrest those people. Is there a call for the Justice Department to go out there and force? Is there a call for Barack Obama to send out the National Guard to stop that stuff? Let's keep reading.
You know what, Jimmy? I just want to say I'm so happy that she was able to post this at 8:13 a.m. December 4th.
December 4th.
And then when I look and she says that many believe risks contaminating the tribe's water supply, that many believe that there are risks.
Many believe.
Boy, they believe. Oh, it couldn't necessarily be substantiated by past experiences.
What a mealy mouth bull. Again, a classic example of why Democrats lose. This is a classic example of it. Mealy mouth bullshit, a day late and $1 short. Go ahead.
And she's also just saying the tribe's water supply. No, these water protectors are out there for everyone's water supply.
There's millions of people who rely on that. So she says, she goes on. And last week, the governor directed state and local agencies to refuse emergency assistance as a way to expel the tribe and their water protector supporters. The Standing Rock Sioux are not animals to be corralled. They are human beings to be ignored by powerful senators who pretend to be progressive and courageous. That's my part. I redid that part. Where she said, yeah. Good, passionate human beings who have stood together in the midst of a North Dakota blizzard this past week and stood together for many weeks before to fight for what they believe in. They should be treated with respect and basic human decency. The construction workers, and now here's the construction.
You know what? I'm so sorry. Does she really have to say they should be treated with respect and basic human decency 6 months later?
6 months later. Again, no call to get the sheriff put in jail. No call to get the cop who blew that woman's, or none of this stuff. So all this stuff is horrifying to her, but we shouldn't have accountability for anybody, because if it's one thing that the Democrats do, it's no fucking accountability for power ever.
And by the way, these good, passionate human beings are actually informed citizens.
Yes. So she goes on, the construction workers and laborers at Standing Rock are also human beings. And they weren't the ones to decide where to build this pipeline. They are good, hardworking people who are just trying to do their jobs. They also should be treated with respect and basic human decency. Okay, I don't understand why she put that paragraph in there. That is a total bullshit. That is that mealy-mouthed Democrats, both sides, we have to have both sides. She had to find some bullshit equivalency in there, and she did. No one's upset at the fucking guys working there. People are upset at the fucking cops. Nobody's upset at the workers. People are upset at the cops. And people are upset at the government. And people are upset at the company. And people are upset at you, someone with power who does nothing and then puts a bunch of bullshit like this on Facebook after it's over. So I don't have any idea why she did that. That's just a complete...
You know what? The troubling part for me is just trying to do their jobs.
Just trying to do their jobs.
And that, gives me that impression of that kind of fascist excuse about...
I'm just following orders. Yes. I'm just following orders. I don't know what to do. They told me to put this Jew in an oven. I did it. I don't know. They said get these people on the trains. I put them on the trains. I don't know.
I sprayed them with cold water.
I sprayed them with cold water and sub-freezing temperatures. Whatever. I'm just doing my job.
I handcuffed them to cages.
I strip searched them, put them in cages like animals. Whatever. Just doing my job. More back to Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I shot them with rubber bullets.
Oh, I shot them with rubber bullets. Knocked this woman's eye out.
Doing my job.
The fact is, we need a country where all our children can safely drink the water, and where we move away from dirty fossil fuels and build more sustainable green energy solutions. We also need good jobs and respect for our workers. All these things are true. It's a both and, not an either or. Holy shit. That's all fucking platitudes. Time is running out. No, because I think you wrote this because you knew that the Army Corps had already made a decision. Time is running out. Patience is worn thin. Patience have worn... Where the fuck have you been? Exactly. If time is running out and patience have worn thin, now you're fucking weighing in on this? Where have you been? God damn it. The Obama administration should step up now and work with the Army Corps of Engineers to find an alternate route to the pipeline and ways to address the concerns of Standing Rock Sioux. Yes, there may be more work to do, and it may take more money, but we need to act in good faith, de-escalate this violence, and find a solution. De-escalate the violence. I like how she puts it again in the passive. The violence. The violence. Not, we need to stop that maniac sheriff from sicking his attack dogs on peaceful protesters. Just the violence. You want to know why we lost to Trump? This is why. Because Democrats stand for nothing. Democrats stand for nothing. If those were Tea Partiers, if you had 4,000 Tea Partiers in North Dakota, every Republican politician from Alaska to Miami would be in North Dakota sucking their dicks trying to get them to like them. If that was 4,000 Tea Partiers in North Dakota, are you kidding me? It took that just to get her to recognize it.
You know,
You wonder why Trump is the president. This is the best the Democrats have to offer. Go ahead, Robert.
Michael Moore made a really good point coming into the election. He said that one of the real failings of the Democratic Party is that liberals get lazy and they don't hold their people to the fire, their feet to the fire. And what
Or
happened,
their people.
And the reality is that, you know, politicians will respond to the people who talk to them. And if the donor class are the only people yelling at them, then those are the people who get talked to. If you as a constituent aren't writing your congressman consistently, letting
We did that video about how to get the ear of your congressman. We did a video all about that. An insider who used to work for Jason Chaffetz or Chafee, she did this whole Twitter thing where she says this is what really works. If you have a meeting of people of 100 or so, your congressman or senator will show up to that meeting.
Right.
And phone calls work more than emails.
Right.
Phone calls, because they have to answer the phone. So there's a video on that about how to get it. But let me just to speak direct. Go ahead.
It's something that's been known for a long time. One of the most notorious quotes from FDR was that, you know, someone came into his office and said, "This is a really good policy proposal." He said, "That's a really good idea. You should make me do that."
Yeah.
And it is our job to make people do this shit. And Elizabeth Warren is one of my heroes. I think very, very, very highly of her. But obviously, she's got X amount of capital, and she's not going to do stuff that a lot of people don't make her do. And she's spending her political capital on Wall Street reform and facing a horrific uphill fight in that regard. And making her do other things it's a tough battle. And
you're saying that Elizabeth Warren, actually, her heart is in the DAPL thing, but she's just
I don't know. I don't think her heart is in the DAPL thing. I think her heart is on other things.
Oh, right. So,
I think she's
picking her fights.
I think she's picking her fights, and you know, I'm not happy about that, but I also am like, this is one of the people going forward that has the potential to save the Democratic Party. I'm not going to shit on her.
You know what?
This is my version of holding her feet to the fire.
You know what?
Yeah, no, it's
This
good,
is my
but
version of doing that.
Tonally, it's iffy.
And I think you can chew gum and walk at the same time, even though I can't say that phrase at the same time as I'm saying it. You can chew gum and walk at the same time, and I think she could have put this out 5 weeks ago. She could have put this out 2 months ago, and so then people would know where she stands. And she doesn't have to, go out to. She doesn't have to do anything. She could have said something about it a long time ago. This is all she didn't go there. She didn't meet with anybody. This is what she did at the last moment when I'm sure she got tipped off that the Army Corps was changing their plans. Steph?
I just read that Elizabeth Warren is actually going to Standing Rock. She's just around the river bend.
I don't get that joke.
Is
that a joke? Yeah. Fuck.
It's Pocahontas sings it.
Oh, I did not
just
know
around the river bend.
I did not know
it's solid.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
But by the way, did you do your part? Did you write to Elizabeth Warren and say, this is something that you need to be aware of? Did you write to your congressman? Did you write to your senator and say, I want response on this?
I did more than that. I did videos about it on this show that got lots of views.
That
So I'm helping raise the consciousness
got
of
viewed
America.
by a lot of people who agree with you and also didn't write their congressman.
And also, lots of people who don't agree with me watch our videos too. We have a lot of right-wingers who watch our
You know
video.
what?
You know why? Because they consider me a straight shooter.
Actually, Jimmy,
And let me also remind people, December 26th, we're doing a live Jimmy Dore show in Burbank. So come out and see. That's the day after Christmas.
I'm not a straight
We'll
shooter.
put a link for
little
tickets
bit
underneath.
to the left and up.
Additionally, let's not pretend for 1 second she doesn't read her Twitter feed, that she doesn't see what's happening in the universe.
Yeah, I didn't have to
So
make
as
her,
far as
Robert, that I had to
doing
make
it,
her aware of this is ridiculous. I didn't have to make her. Of course she fucking knew about it. She said, how could you not be horrified? The first sentence is, I don't know how you can watch the news and not be horrified. She knows what's happening. That's my first joke about it was like.
But again, it comes down to they know what's going on, but the question is do they understand that there are people out there who are going, you have to do something about this or it's going to cost you politically with this element of your party.
Okay. Elizabeth Warren, not looking good for the Democrats. Not looking good whatsoever. Not looking good.